So we've been in business just about 10 years. I closed in on that. And I feel like I look at my own viewpoint over the years, how it's changed a lot. Like I was somebody that got into this business because I was very technical and I was very able to do it. And the thing you have to get good at is realizing as an executive, like you're building like the lines for other people to actually work on and produce on, right? So your actual job is handling slowdowns in lines or log jams or missing training or things like that. So when I've actually started putting together training in the last couple of years, what I actually do is, since we're virtual, is I do like screen recordings where I do like narration, but narration to the point that it's really crazy obvious. Like move over to the right, go down, because then what I can do with that transcript is I can feed that transcript into an AI to help me write the process and make it smoother. And then I read the process and make sure it's actually like English, because AI doesn't always do a great job in English. Right. So, but like when you do it that way, you can build a real process where, I hired a new video editor about 6 months ago. And I'm like, all right, here's the full process. And he's doing everything just as good as or better than the guy that was previously there, because he had stepped into a full process that was working. So it just goes to say, goes along what you're talking about here.
Yeah. So the process you built for this guy, this is how we do the fries, right? Drop the basket with the fries in. When the buzzer sounds, you take them out, let it drip for whatever it is, 2 minutes.
That's 100% true, because, and then, somebody can have their own creativity, like within that, like, okay, well, how can I improve on this process and how can I do it better? But like, I don't have to come up with something brand new. And I think as an executive, if you're putting those lines there, well, okay, then you can say, okay, things aren't flowing well. Well, what's broken, rather than like, I don't really have a process to fix.
Right. And here's a thing that I try and instill in all of my clients is having a process. Having an ongoing process when there is a bottleneck, when there is a system a process that's broken, how do you go about coming up with the process, documenting it, make sure that everybody knows about it, and make sure that everybody's followed by all?
I'm curious as well if you've seen this with clients, because I think a lot of things that people don't consider is like, okay, the process is broken, it's bottleneck somewhere, like, but what is your process to then go through and actually fix that, right? Like not a lot of people actually have a process to fix that. And I guess when you're talking to clients about that, I guess what kind of suggestions do you make to them in fixing bottlenecks and things when they come up, even if we do have a process?
Right. Well, first thing is get the owner out of the way, because the owner generally is the bottleneck, and about half my clients realize, yeah, we're the bottleneck. We're clear about that. You should have some form of what I call leadership team. Some people who are going to actually help you manage the business. And there's a big difference between being an entrepreneur and being a manager, right? I mean, the skill sets are almost diametrically opposed. That's why entrepreneurs make such bad managers, and why good managers are not going to make good entrepreneurs. So you get the entrepreneur out of the way, because they're going to be all over the place, and they're going to really be insisting on my way, because I started the company, it's my company, I should know how to do this. So get them out of the way, and then get information, especially from the employees and the leadership team, on what are the bottlenecks, and ask them, what is the bottleneck, not why is the bottleneck? Because a lot of them want to come up with stories like, well, because so-and-so over there is not doing their job, this is what's going on. No, what is it that's happening or not happening that's creating the bottleneck? Don't assign blame. Don't try and make it somebody's fault. And then from there, it's like, okay, so what do we need to do? What does the process need to look like? What are the missing steps? What are the steps we need to take out that we can document like a recipe form, put it in writing, make sure everybody reads it, make sure everybody understands it, and make sure that it works.